You're not a suspect until you're named as a suspect, which is usually right before you're charged. I don't think they're there yet. They're looking at a lot of things.
Candace, based on what we know so far, what's your take on the type of person or people that law enforcement are likely looking into right now?
Well, this looks to me like it was committed by people that have experience committing other crimes. This is not what we call a kiddie crime. A couple teenagers took her to see, gee, maybe we could get some money. It doesn't look like that at all. And if that were the case, I think something would have happened by now, and it has not happened.
And John, we now know that Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker last synced with her phone around 2 a.m. on the night she went missing early Sunday morning. Her phone was still at the house. Does that help investigators in any way in terms of their search?
Well, it narrows potentially the window of time from when she was dropped off 9:30, 9:45 after dinner, dropped off at home, till 11 a.m. when she didn't arrive at church. So it appears that that device works in proximity with the cell phone. So once the cell phone was still at the house, but Nancy Guthrie wasn't, those two devices stopped separating and they stopped pinging. That could give them a better idea of timing. But it's still a large gap in time where an abductor could have traveled a great distance. One of the things we haven't really considered here is, while the message has gone out to all of the people around Tucson, if you see her, if you spot somebody anywhere in Arizona, we remember in the Elizabeth Smart case, she ended up going from Salt Lake City to San Diego and back. This is one of those things where there's been enough time so everybody in the country who believes they see someone with her or her somewhere should be reporting that.
And Candace, at least 3 media outlets reportedly have received ransom notes, ones that are not verified yet as far as we know. What struck you about how law enforcement seems to be responding to this topic of ransom right now, which, not to be harsh, is the only thing that makes any sense?
It is the only thing that makes any sense. And statistically, when people Nancy Guthrie's age are kidnapped, it is for financial gain. The perpetrator is doing it for that reason. In terms of all these people, first of all, it's a crime to make up a phony ransom note in a case like this. And we see this kind of behavior perpetrated by what I would call disturbed attention seekers, sometimes shameless attention seekers. The police and the FBI have very advanced methods whereby they can determine if something is real. And of course, the kidnappers should be able to provide something in the letter or content or attached to the letter to prove that they do, in fact, need to be taken seriously as the kidnapper.
So John, how do you even verify a ransom note as authentic?
So, you start off with proof of life. Okay. Can you show me a picture? Can you put the victim on the phone? Can you send us a recording if you don't want to get involved with the phone for obvious reasons? If not that, you can drill down to, I'm going to send you 3 questions. These are questions that only the victim would know. Who was your favorite puppy dog in the 4th grade? What was the thing you had for dinner the other night? And you try to test that kidnapper who's in the middle of a money demand and say, how can you prove 2 things to us? 1, that you're real, that you are the person who has or had her, and 2, that she's still alive. And those are important tests.
Candace, I want to ask you about the surrounding neighborhood. CNN's Ed Lavandera drove through it at night this week, and it was just pitch black. No streetlights, houses set back far from the street, screened by vegetation and cacti. CNN also heard from one of Nancy Guthrie's neighbors last night. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We were not aware that Savannah Guthrie was her daughter. Just a very normal person in a community. Hello. She had a dog at one time also. When we'd walk by, if she was in the front yard, just a greeting, just a normal person who lived here.
What do you make of seeing that type of neighborhood with that type of description? And also, I just have to say, my observation from that video is, I originally was like, well, there must be Ring cameras that are filming stuff that they might have gotten evidence from, and now I think it's possible that they didn't at all, just because the houses are so far back, and there's so much vegetation.
It is quite true that is accurate, in addition to the fact lack of streetlights. And I used to live in southern Arizona, and that terrain can be with the type of vegetation that grows very, very difficult for cameras to see through it or to see a person moving. It is not easy at all.
Yeah.
And there is one thing I'd like to add about kidnapping of elderly people, especially people over 80. In the vast majority of cases, the offender is known to the victim.
Candace DeLong and John Miller, thank you so much. And anyone, again, with information related to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie,